Well, hello, my loves. So, I kind of wanted to just revisit the topic on MAC's inclusivity statement. Now, MAC Cosmetics to me has always been a iconic brand that so many people love, so many people have endless memories with. Even if they're older, they remember going to the MAC counter, and MAC was a brand that really set the stage for other brands to come and started a lot of makeup artists' careers. And that's why it disappoints me when a brand like that, who can be a trendsetter in using their platform, doesn't write on their inclusivity statement that they don't include people with all abilities. And they talk about race and gender and that type of thing. And I know that they've done a couple things with the UK and getting an ASL interpreter. Cool. But MAC, you can do better. This all started by me wanting to be on your PR list. I still do, to be honest. I'm not trying to have any kind of animosity towards your brand in the slightest. I have loved MAC products since I've gotten into makeup. So many of them are my holy grails, and that's why it disappoints me, because I am a person with disabilities and I do not feel represented in the slightest. And there are so many other brands that just they just do it, and they put it in their inclusivity statements. And as an advocate, once an advocate, always an advocate, but as an advocate for people with disabilities, it's even I want to kind of wake up these companies and show that they have a demographic that they may have not considered before. And it's a little infuriating because being disabled, anyone can become disabled at any time in their life. I happened to have that happen to me when I was 9 years old, and then it just snowballed and kept getting worse. But I just expect this from a brand like MAC. And I have reached out to them multiple times. There has been multiple emails. I even had a phone conversation with a rep who ensured me that she made me feel heard and ensured me that there will be action taken. I have not gotten a follow-up from that. And if there is new information, please share it with me, MAC. I want to know. I want to support your brand. I just think that generally people do not care about people with disabilities. It's just a fact. And unless they have a close family member or whatever, their perspective never shifts when it comes to people with disabilities. Most people are hey, I'm gonna avoid that person. The end. But we have the power to change the narrative in the beauty industry, and I want to do that. It really hits home to me. I do not feel like I am represented. As a South Asian disabled person, I do not feel represented in the beauty industry. And I want to change that. So, MAC, please reach out to me again, and I'll be the first to say, hey, Mac did their due diligence. Because even if you have to go to your board of directors to change that little note in the inclusivity statement, I know that it could be very like jumping through hoops and all that, especially with a big company like Mac. But why don't you want to tap into that community? And I want answers. I feel deeply that of all, like, I'm coming after Mac more so because, like, of all the work I've already tried to do to get their attention to change their inclusivity statement. Like, put people of all abilities in there. Like, it's not easy when I'm doing a makeup look and I'm trying to open the cap or whatever. But people don't see that because I don't complain. But it still hurts. And I don't know. I'm just very upset with MAC Cosmetics specifically. And I've seen under other brands do like the right thing, and they do include people with disabilities. And I don't think that getting an ASL interpreter is enough. Yes, that is one subsect of people with disabilities, and they absolutely should be accommodated. I'm not minimizing that in the slightest. There's a lot of other, there are a lot other of us that don't really fit with that community. So the easiest thing to do is to say people with all abilities. And this isn't like some, like, honestly, our lives matter too, and representation matters. Above all, representation matters. And so many of us try to reclaim our identity through makeup. It grounds us. Like people like me, for example, I'm constantly almost dying. Like that's just my persona at this point. I'm a frequent flyer in hospitals. I live with intense chronic pain from my head to my toes. Like literally, you point out any single part of my body and I'll tell you what's wrong with it. Severely wrong with it. So if I'm gonna have some kind of purpose, I want it to be this. I want to change the way the beauty industry sees disabled people. And Mac, this is me calling you out yet again. Please, please, please don't break my heart, as Sabrina Carpenter would say. Please do something about this. And please loop me in. And I still want to be on your PR list after all this. I know that your intentions are not bad. Like, sometimes people just have to tell you, and that's okay. But, you know, I just, like, step it up a notch, Mac. Like, let me buy your products feeling good instead of this animosity that I'm feeling at the moment. And again, I still want to be on your PR list. I love your products, and I really want to like see like more brown friendly products too, and I've seen you sort of do that, and I've seen that through Adi's page and like others, but at the end of the day, sure, you might be formulating lipsticks that work with two-tone pigmented lips, but you don't, at the end of the day, like, I don't know, I just, like, there's so many different levels to being a person with disability, and representation and inclusivity is just so important. Like, the amount of events I've had to sit out of, or things that I could not have done because I can't go upstairs, or if I was in my wheelchair, or the fact that I went to Italy for a wedding, and instead of that wedding, we did not attend the wedding. I was in the hospital, like, getting like some Dr. Frankenstein type treatment. Like, we go through a lot, and makeup, for me personally, it grounds me. It grounds me in like who I am. My creative outlet is makeup. Like, this is my canvas, and it is something that I do not take lightly, because when I fell in love with makeup, it was when I was at the brink of my like really, really bad illness. Like I think it was probably when I was on the ventilator for over a week, and I need to feel good about brands that I'm buying from. And I question MAC and their openness towards this subject. And it kind of hurts, to be honest. Like, for someone to tell you that, like, okay, you poured your heart out to me, and I'm still not going to give you that representation. So, MAC, do better. Be a trendsetter again. Do what you gotta do. But first, ignore this area of my mouth. Like, seriously, my lips are going through it. But I can go on and on about this, and maybe I will. I might make a video just pertaining to this and how I am disappointed with the response that I got, or lack thereof of response that I got through MAC. Like, once an advocate, always an advocate. I think you guys all know I was advocating for people with disabilities in the Obama White House. And things like that just make me so much more passionate about this. And I am so engaged in the beauty community that, like, I'm seeing the gaps in representation, and it hurts. And I feel like if I could do any good on this earth for however long I'm here, I want to shift the way the beauty industry views disabled people, not as a weakness necessarily, but as a strength. Do you know how much resiliency it takes to stay alive, like, in itself? when you're constantly in an excruciating amount of pain, in and out of the hospital, all this stuff, it's very easy not to care about your life. And that's kind of where I am right now, to be honest. But I absolutely care about everybody else's life. And I am not the only disabled person on the internet, or on YouTube, or maybe, I don't know. But I am not the only person that wants to see representation for disabled people. I know that for a fact because so many of my disabled friends, they love makeup just as much as I do. And they might not have a channel, they might not, whatever, but it affects us. Like, it affects us. And it's same thing with South Asian representation. Like, generally, representation matters. And I think more people need to start opening up their eyes in the beauty industry. I'm not trying to have a fight or anything. That's not my intention. I just want to see some change. And when we got our farewell stuff from President Obama when I left the White House, he said, now it's our turn. And the good news is we're ready. And yes, we can. And I do think that through my content, as I build my page, as I do all these things, I want disabled people to know that they're thought of and they matter. The end. Okay, anyway, for all of my viewers watching, I love you. Bye.